All right, hello, and welcome to another episode of Craven Some Raven. Damn it, I'm excited. Not as excited as I was because I was recording this episode and I record on my phone and it kept fucking up and it would stop. It would, I would try to go back in and re-record and it just kept stopping at 11 minutes and 30 seconds for whatever reason. So, this one probably is not going to be as good because I'm going to try to do it in as quick of manner as I can. Try to do it hopefully in one take, not pause too many times. So in this episode, it's going to be my wide receiver top 10. From 10 to 1. Who I think is going to be the best wide receiver in the class. Maybe not necessarily like best value, because I think some of these guys are probably going to go higher than they should. But I'm just going to do my best shot. But first, I got business to take care of. I got a sponsor. And today's episode is brought to you by McDonald's. Do you hate yourself and enjoy plastic and instant diarrhea? Then come into your local Walmart McDonald's and try our new seasonal McGo Fuck Yourself sandwich. It's a Big Mac that features 4 almost natural beef patties with french fries and McNuggets inside the burger. For only $1 or the price of a losing lottery ticket, you can enjoy your McGo Fuck Yourself today while supplies last. Wow. Awesome. Great sponsor. Can't believe I was able to get McDonald's. It's a pretty big get for a podcast that gets like 10 viewers over like 10 episodes. So I'm going to try to get through this list maybe pretty quickly. I'm not going to go over all the stats because you can kind of look that up yourself. I'm just going to go by the eyeball test. So at number 10, I have Preston Williams. He is out of Colorado State, and he went to Tennessee. He was like a 5-star recruit, but for whatever reason, Tennessee didn't use him, so he went to Colorado, and he put up huge numbers. He's great at adjusting to the ball midair. He looks like a number 1 receiver, has all the tools. He gets open pretty consistently, not crazy separation, but enough to get by. And he's got that it factor. I don't know, just watching him, he looks like a player who's just always playing lights out. Like he's always going 110%. So, next on my list, I have Kelvin Harmon. A lot of people have him higher. I don't, because I just don't. He didn't wow me with anything. Yeah, he looks like an NFL wide receiver. He's got that big body. And he is another one of these guys, just like Preston Williams. He's great at adjusting to the ball midair. I'd say almost elite compared to some of these other guys that are on my list. Like you'll see, like the quarterback. I don't even know who his quarterback is, but he's not that great because he'll throw it up and you see the ball and you're like, man, where the fuck is he throwing? And then you can kind of see Kelvin Harmon coming out of the side of the frame, and he's like slowing down kind of, but still in stride, or like speeding up, like just perfectly so the ball lands in his hands perfectly. Or if he's covered, I've seen him make some crazy one-hand catches, some highlight reel catches. So I think he could be wide receiver 1. He might go higher than I think he should in the draft. I think he's one of these guys. Just like his people keep putting him higher up on the list. Like a lot of these wide receivers, I don't know how high they're going to go in the draft. Just because like the difference from like all of these guys, I think have the ability to be starters. But even from like, let's say, like what would be my number 11 guy at number 20, there's like no discernible difference. I mean, there is looking at him, but I mean like grade-wise, there's no difference. So now next on my list, I have A.J. Brown. He's another guy that people have a little bit higher. I don't had a lot of production out of Ole Miss. Great out of the slot. He's got that big play potential. Not so much pass it 30 yards downfield, but that, give it to me in a 5-yard slant and I'm going to take it to the house. Saw him do it a lot, a lot at Ole Miss. So especially going up against that SEC defensive talent that he's got to go up against every week, having the production that he had was kind of impressive, and probably would warrant him being a little bit higher up on the list. I just, sometimes you see a guy, like, even if the stats and looking at it seems like they should go higher. They just, for whatever reason, you think like, no, they just don't seem like that guy. But, so next, I'm just going to go next on my list, try to get through these. I'm going to try to get this video or this podcast under 15. Just because, this is supposed to be a Ravens podcast, and this is just like for anybody. So, yeah. Because a lot of these guys, I don't think the Ravens should get, just because their value is not going to be there. There are some of them, but I'm going to do that in another video, where I do specific, like, who I think the Ravens should get. And I think the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to, like, round one, like, I'll draft a wide receiver for the Ravens in each round. So I think that's the way I'm going to do it. But getting to my next guy, I have Deebo Samuel. Sorry, I just Deebo'd in my throat. Deebo Samuel out of South Carolina. Is he South Carolina or North Carolina? I think he's North Carolina. Let me just double check here. Probably could do this with all the wide receivers, but this is just bugging me. I'm going to try to do, like I said, without stopping, just because my phone's having issues. South Carolina. So he had lots of production too, but he's got some crazy highlight reel catches. Like if you watch his highlight reel, a lot of his catches are just like, what? Say a what? And he's great with running the ball, just like AJ Brown. Like, get the ball in his hands, and he'll go try to score for you. He had a good Senior Bowl too. I don't think like a great Senior Bowl, but he had a pretty decent Senior Bowl that confirmed that, this guy is, he's in the top 10 of most people's wide receiver lists, and that Senior Bowl just provided proof that, okay, even against other top guys, top seniors, he deserves to be on that list. So next above Deebo Samuel, I have J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Great name of the draft. Basically a tight end, but he plays wide receiver. He's one of these dudes that seem to come out every draft where he's never open. He's technically always open, even when he's covered. He's going to go up and get the ball. And a lot of the times, I don't think those guys are going to pan out. But J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is a different story to me, because I believe he's got that elite version of that. Like, when he's hand fighting, he's got elite hand fighting skills for a wide receiver. Like, watching his tape, even if he doesn't catch the touchdown or doesn't catch that jump ball, the defensive back is getting a pass interference called. Like, he's so good at hand fighting that the other guy always gets called, not him. And it's kind of impressive, and I think that sort of skill set will translate. So even if he doesn't get you the catch, he'll get you the yards via pass interference. And he does it so consistently. Like, every single game I watch, there's like 2 or 3 of these where they throw a flag and the defensive back's just, what are you talking about? You're just pushing me. It's like, yeah, he was, but he doesn't get caught because he's so good at that. And that's something that I don't really think you can teach. I think that's something you just know. And since he's already got that skills, there's no reason I don't think that will translate. So, next on my list, I have Hakeem Butler out of Iowa State. He's a big dude. I think he's like 6'6". He's like 200 pounds, so he's a little bit long and lanky. He's not the biggest dude. I mean, he's tall, but he's not like bulked up. And he's not, for a lot of lists, he's not very high. I think he should be higher on most people's list. First of all, I'm a Ravens fan, and this kid's from Baltimore. So that's pretty big to me. I think he's got the second highest upside of all these guys on my list. Just like being a pure number one who could be top 10 wide receiver in the league. Watching his tape, I saw like a few drops, but a lot of these guys, they have a few drops where you're just like, what the hell are you doing? So nothing crazy there. His separation skills are kind of meh, but he was getting double teamed all game, and whenever they needed a play, they went to him, which made it seem like, well, why didn't they just throw it to him more? Maybe that's a coaching thing. I don't know why, but I think he's going to be great in the next league or in the NFL. I just think they didn't use him as much as they should have, because with his skill set, he's a number one guy, number one looking guy. He looks like an NFL wide receiver, and it looks like he could be successful. So I'm just going to go to my next guy on the list, who is Andy Isabella. This is everybody's draft, like, fucking money shot. Everyone loves Andy Isabella. Small white dude. Small white guy. So he's probably going to end up on the Patriots. But he's going to be successful on most teams, I believe so. His ability to get open, his short area quickness is elite. And especially, you saw it on tape. And then he goes to the Senior Bowl and just outproduces everybody. Like, watching that game, he was the best wide receiver on the field. He just knows how to get open and knows what to do with the ball once he has it in his hands. He's very shifty once he gets the ball. And sometimes you see him, he took too many steps, like when they're doing the one-on-ones. He's kind of doing a little bit too much. But he fixed that very short afterwards and then had a great game. And, just a great story, just a small white dude trying to make it in this league. So, he's going to go, I think, in, like, the third round. I think he's got third round talent, but I think he might go in the second round, actually. Sorry, excuse me. I meant to say second round just because everyone's kind of creaming their pants over him. So, next on my list, I have N'Keal Harry. Now, this is one of the guys who originally I thought he was number one, but just watching a little bit more of his tape, he just, sometimes when the ball's not going to him, he doesn't really do much. Like, he doesn't look like he's trying too hard out there. Like, one of these guys, like, if I ain't getting the ball, then it ain't for me. Like, he doesn't look like a willing blocker. But you get him the ball, he is great run after catch ability. He's never covered. Like, some of his catches are crazy. I think he had the best catch in all of college last year. That one where he dove back. He was diving back and caught it one-handed. That was impressive, just seeing that. And then he's also got some punt return ability too. He took a few back, took him to the house. He's just, like, consistently on tape. Sometimes they'll throw it to him in the flat, and he'll take it all the way to the other side of the field. And he'll do it multiple times. It showed up all the time in the games I watched. Like, he's just trying to score each and every play. And people can't bring him down. People struggle to bring him down. So, next, I guess number 2 now. I probably should have been counting down. But, so he was number 3. So, number 2, I have Marquise Hollywood Brown. This guy, ultra productive out of Oklahoma. Great offense for wide receivers. A little bit small and slender, but one of the fastest dudes I've seen. Everyone kind of compares him to Jackson, Deshaun Jackson, because he's got that ability. He's consistently getting open with his speed and his route running ability. And then once he gets the ball, he's very shifty, really slippery, hard to get down, throws some quick jukes on you, and then he's gone to the house. And doing it at Oklahoma, not going up against the best defenses in the Pac-12 and having such a prolific offense where it's like, okay, how are you going to guard him? How are you going to guard everybody else? But I don't know why people would see that as a negative. I think it's a positive because of him, he was hard to guard and have teams stop him where they couldn't focus on him. But he's one of these guys, small, shifty guys, so maybe he won't be like a wide receiver 1, but he's definitely going to catch, I think, a lot of balls. I think no matter what offense he goes to, he's going to be open just because of the separation that he causes with his speed. So, number 1 on my list, a lot of people have him number 1, so no surprise, DK Metcalf. He is just the highest upside out of everybody. He is most likely to be Josh Gordon. Not just in his ability, but also he might just be injured. But the upside, it's undeniable. Everyone saw that picture of him. Dude looks like a defensive end. While some see that as a negative, it just shows the dude's an athlete, and he comes from a great line. A lot of I think his father and his uncle, they were in the NFL, and even his grandfather, I think I saw. But so he comes from a great family line, so nothing's going to be too big for him. The only negative is his injury history. That's really the only negative anybody has on him, because watching his tape, he's catching bombs. He's impossible to bring down. He is just a man among boys at the college level, and will that continue into the NFL? It's hard to say because it's a different league, but he's going up against SEC competition at Ole Miss. So he's going up. He's already going up against the men among boys of the college football world. So it only seems to make sense that he would continue that. So I think he's got potential to be a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. If he goes to a team that knows how to get their wide receivers to produce, and if he's not injured, which that's all up in the air. But I think he's the obvious number one choice, and I think that's why everyone kind of has him as the obvious number one choice, because he is. So I think that's going to do it. Not bad. One take. Just one sip of water at the end. Unedited. That's the way I like it. Because once you start editing a podcast, then it becomes a job. Then it's not just talking. So I think that's going to do it. Yeah, that'll be it. Have a good rest of your day there, buddy.